a lot more people considering the prime rate. I do. I've had 3 clients in the past week that have taken prime rates, like variable rates. So variables are starting to make a turnaround. Even last night I spoke to new clients on the phone and I was like, you know, I'll run your application, then we'll discuss interest rates. And I was like, don't freak out when I say variable. And she was like, no, I want to discuss variable. So they're starting to make a turnaround. Canada is seeing some people being laid off, yes. Prime is still 7.2. Yes, it is. Oh, good morning. Will a 660 credit score get you approved? Yes. Yes, Kurt, I dyed my hair. The blonde is gone. Now I am going back at the end of this month and I'm gonna put, it'll still kind of stay dark, but I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit, but it's gone. I had to, my hair was dying. Solid rate drop by May. People are predicting we're gonna see something by May. I'm skeptical. I think I'm so skeptical because we've been burnt so many times by the Bank of Canada that I have a hard time believing it. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kurt. The necklace, it's nothing. It's just a gold 2-circle thing. I do mortgages. I'm not a real estate agent. When I see rates drop, when there's a turnaround on variable rates, does that signal anything to you, like Bank of Canada lowering? So I still have wicked, like our discounts, we still have prime minus on insured mortgages, meaning if you're buying a house with less than 20% down, we have mortgages at prime minus 1.2. So you can take a 6% variable right now. On a non-insured mortgage, we can get still prime minus 1, which would put you at 6.2. I don't think we're gonna see much steeper discounts on variable. It's just waiting for the Bank of Canada to come in and cut prime. What do I do for my nails? I don't know, I just get them painted. CHFA? Monique, are you from the States? If you get a rate around 375, 375 is good. Never missed a payment, credit is bad, renewal will be okay. So I just did a video on this. More than likely, yes. More than likely your renewal should be fine. Is there a chance that they could pull your credit, review your credit and say, we're not comfortable even though you've paid all your mortgage payments? There is. Would I stress about it right now? I wouldn't. How many years if you're renewing in May? I would look short term, probably next year. I'd look at 2-year. If not, go variable. I'm in Canada. Which bank offers prime minus 1 on uninsured? A few. I guess you have to talk to a good mortgage broker. Would I say it's not a good time to get a mortgage? I don't know if it's not a good time. I mean, as interest rates suck. That's quite obvious. Mortgages, look at it as affordability. If you're not taking a mortgage, are you paying somebody else's mortgage? If you can take a mortgage and afford the mortgage and it's your property, you know, there's a difference there. So there's a few things to answer that question. It's hard to answer. When your mortgage is renewing, my contact info is in my bio. It's my email, samantha@mortgageswithpower.com. Just shoot me a quick email saying you want to talk about renewal. I reply then with what I call a discovery call, which takes you to my schedule and you schedule a time that works, and then we do an initial phone call. Canadians are supposed to be nice. I am nice sometimes. Statistically, has variable been the better way to go? If you look over history, like 30 years, yes. If you look over the past 2 years, absolutely not. But if you look history-wise, we've always seen, you know, a jump in variable and it comes back down, and it's jumped up again and it's come back down. We have weathered a serious storm over the last 2 years. Do I still think it's going to be a good option? Yes. And the better option? Yes. I don't want to jump on here and say this, but with who's running our country, is there a slight chance that it might not be a better option? Mm-hmm. I can't do business lines, just secured lines of credit. We're hanging on through variable and it's tough. It has been a tough ride, Steph, but if you have made it this far, just hold on a little longer. No mortgage is the only way to go. I disagree. You can pull money from your property and make money on that money. Cornwall, hello. See change with different admin. Somebody else running our country, I think we'll see a lot of changes. Is it possible to pull money from your property without refinancing your mortgage? Yes, it is. It would be in terms of either a second mortgage or like a secured line of credit. A lot of people right now that have like these wicked low interest rates for like another year or year and a half are taking second mortgages. Although they're a little bit more expensive, they're generally taking a much cheaper second mortgage and keeping, you know, the super cheap interest on their high interest or their high balance mortgages. So it's not called a HELOC. A second mortgage is not called a HELOC. A second mortgage is called a second mortgage. A HELOC is called a home equity line of credit, a HELOC. Thanks for coming out though. I can't with people. Bowmanville, I'm going there today. I will be out there this afternoon. Why do banks refuse $1,500 a month mortgages when you already pay double that in rent every month? One, I want to know where you're finding mortgages for $1,500 a month. Two, because owning a home is more than just paying a mortgage payment. That's why. I can help anywhere in Canada except for Quebec and New Brunswick now. We have access to credit unions. Logic behind a high net worth client having an interest only mortgage on a $5 million. If that's all they want, maybe they've requested that. Is it you, Chuck, or is it somebody else who has that? In Texas, I can't even help in Texas. We're in Canada here, completely different. Difference between pros and cons of a HELOC and a second mortgage. So your HELOC is going to be, one, you can only go to 65% of the value of your property on a HELOC now. Those changes have come into effect. So right there is actually knocking a lot of people out of the HELOC rules. Two, qualifying for a HELOC is actually a lot harder. The pros of a HELOC is it's completely open. So you can pay it off as much as you want and it's readvanceable. When it comes to a second mortgage, and your HELOC is going to have generally slightly cheaper interest rate. Your second mortgage is going to have a higher interest rate and will come with sometimes like a lending fee. It's not open. I mean, you can request them open, but generally they're not open terms. So if you break it, it comes with a 3-month interest penalty, but we can amortize it and go that route. So there's pros and cons to both. It's a heck of a lot easier to qualify for a second mortgage. You can also bring that up to 80% of the value of your home, where it's harder to qualify for a HELOC and you can only go to 65% loan to value. Your second mortgage is generally going to come with a 3-month interest penalty unless we request open, which then in turn might increase your interest rate. Your HELOC is completely open at all times. Your HELOC is also going to be on a floating rate, so like a variable rate. So if prime goes up or down, that'll dictate the change in your payments. Your HELOC is your second mortgage is generally a fixed rate. Any advice on starting with as a mortgage broker? Get on with a good brokerage. Can I ask why not New Brunswick? Because they just made changes, like literally 3 months ago. Literally, I have a client in New Brunswick. I just closed their file in the summer. Literally after that close, they came out and said, if you are not in New Brunswick, you cannot fund mortgages in New Brunswick. Sucks. Do I see any changes before that? Because you're up in February, you can already lock in a rate. So you should have a rate locked in right now. When your bank offers you your renewal, you then take the better option. You're at 1.8 until March 2026. It's a pretty wicked rate, Cody.